Hi everyone, here are some highlights of things I found interesting from this week's readings. In the infographic on alcohol use, I noticed how much more prevalent alcohol use is in the mountain region of Colorado. It was as high as 30% or more, and that was, if I remember right, about double of what it was in the eastern part of the state and the Front Range. So that leads me to think that services for preventing alcohol abuse in this part of the state is so important. Something else that stood out to me was the discussion on a teenage brain, and it reminds me of conscious discipline. It's a training I'm currently doing in my job, and how children need adults to regulate. And the same would be true for teenagers. Even though they look like adults, they still behave like children. And so it's so important as adults to recognize that and offer them ways to regulate. Something else to point out in the article Weapon Carrying Among Victims of Bullying. This is an article I'm actually working on for SLD. And the big question for me is, why were the students carrying weapons? I've trained in martial arts, and one of the things I've learned is that if you carry a weapon, you need to know how to use it. And if you carry a weapon and you don't know how to use it, you can actually create more injury, including to yourself. So that's a big question for me and something I'll bring up in my portion of the discussion. For the Healthy Kids Colorado survey, even though only 4% of youth don't attend school, I thought this was important to note because we might be missing the most marginalized and um, at-risk youth by not reaching them from the survey, and that's a big question I have about that. And then the last thing to point out is just the disparities in the LGBTQ community among youth. It seemed to be really high, and so it shows me the importance of targeting interventions for this group. It was really enjoyable. I learned a lot useful things, especially as being a parent. So thank you for listening. Have a great day.